Welcome to your Family Health Revolution conversation series with Carla Atherton and friends, where our HFF family comes together not to tell you what you should do, but what you can do. Take charge of your health. You can do this. In fact, you're the only person who can. This is Carla Atherton, Director of the Healthy Family Formula and host and producer of the Children's Health Summit. And this is a new series called Your Family Health Revolution Conversation Series with Friends. And today I have Florencia with me to discuss dance, expression, movement, creativity, and how this is the stuff of life because we are both like passionate movers. But our bodies are not just a way to like move ourselves around, but it's actually like a vehicle for our self-expression and keeps us alive and vibrant. I just like, I wish I could actually share a picture of you, Floor, where you're like, it's one of your dancing pictures, but we'll get to that. But I'm like, what? Those are so amazing. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Florencia by reading a short bio, and then I'm going to welcome her into the conversation. So, Maria Florencia is an Argentinian tango dancer and teacher living in Italy for the last 20 years. Always interested in nutrition and health, yoga, and meditation, practitioner since her early 20s, she has become part of Carla Atherton's HFF Academy. Love it. I was so glad when she came in. It's like she's challenging me all the time too, by the way. But anyway, that I digress. But movement, movement expertise, health promoter, and nutritionist advocate, Maria Florencia intends to spread the word about a new health paradigm which could help her future clients take the leap into their next health and wellness level. Like, talk about leveling up, energy, right? Like, all that just like
Yeah,
wanting to come out. So thank you for being
lots
here,
of energy.
Florencia. I'm so glad to have
You,
you talking
Carla.
on this topic. And okay, yes. And I'm going to let you talk. I really am. So, but first though, Florencia spent a whole bunch of time gathering some thoughts here for you today because she's very well organized and I love how she presents what she wants to convey to people, what she wants to teach, what she wants to share, because she's actually intrinsically a teacher as well. She didn't mention all that stuff in there. But right? So
It was
I
too much.
go ahead. What were you going to say?
It was too much to introduce the teaching aspect as well.
Mhm, mhm.
Many
But
things to say.
I love what she prepared for today. So what we're going to do is something a little different. So we're going to spend a few minutes. Florencia is going to introduce this topic of dance, expression, movement, how it affects the body, in just a few minutes to give us an anchor point or starting point for the rest of our conversation. So I'm going to welcome you, Florencia, to take it away and share your screen with us.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you for having me here, and
Yes.
hope it could be helpful for everyone
Mm,
today. So, can you see my screen?
I can see it.
Yeah. Okay. So today we're going to talk about movement, exercise, physical activity, and creativity.
Mhm.
First, we are going to explore the benefits. Well, so maybe I can move my screen here because I have the screen. No, I cannot move my screen. I need to look on the other way.
Oh no.
Yeah, because I have the screen here. Let's see if it makes it.
You just
Yeah.
see race
Okay.
cars if you do that.
Yeah. So here, maybe I change this thing. Okay, here we are. So because I need to see what the screen is showing me. So we are going to talk about the benefits of physical activity and creativity and creative movement.
Mm,
And then we are going to see how adding creativity to physical activity, to exercise, is going to amplify all these benefits, and not only on a physical level, also on an emotional and psychological level, and how this is going to boost our development into the next level, which is the most, let's say, fascinating part of all. So we are usually used to our sedentary lives. We have our desk jobs for 9 hours a day, 8 hours a day, maybe more hours a day. Then we travel back and forth, driving, sitting in our cars again, watching our favorite show on TV, and commitments and daily life does not really give the right place for exercise, for movement in our lives. So we really need to think about it. Which are the benefits of exercise actually? Why should exercise and physical activity be such an important component of our lives? And this is crucial. Why? So first of all, exercise reduces stress. And as we know, stress is the demon of our society.
Yeah.
So we want to escape stress in all kinds of ways. I don't want to get into what stress physically produces, but then we can talk about it if we want. So it reduces stress, it increases blood flow, both in our nervous and vascular system, and this is giving oxygen and essential nutrients to our body and our brain. Usually we think that exercise is good for our bodies, but that is not connected to our brains. Instead, exercise has a very strong impact both on our bodies and brains. Mm. Exercise improves sleep, not only the duration, but also the quality of sleep. So both things. And as we know, sleep is the element we have to regenerate our brain. So it's essential for our health. And the last thing I wanted to mention as benefits here is the reduction of inflammation. So as we know, and if we don't know, it's good that we get to know it. Inflammation is the source, the root of all the body dysfunction, and the main cause of any kind of diseases in our bodies and in our brains. So the reduction of inflammation is really crucial. What happens with the chemicals, the hormones that we produce when we exercise? We produce two of the happy hormones, and these are very famous. I'm sure we all heard about these hormones. We have dopamine and endorphin. And so these hormones are related to the way we feel pleasure. Endorphins block, for example, pain and increase sensations of pleasure. So these two hormones are essential for a good mood, right? So usually exercise has proved to be a very good weapon against depression and all kinds of brain degeneration. Another thing that people usually don't know about is this BDNF, which is a brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And basically, literally, it's a growth hormone that is produced. The production increases after exercise. And what it does, it creates new neurons. So it is this process is called neurogenesis. And I guess this is also a very important factor for our lifestyles. So how is physical activity, exercise related to creative movement and self-expression? Well, again, when we are creative, what we produce in our brains is dopamine. And this is, again, it's this chemical that allows our brain to wander and think up new ideas. And when we combine movement, when we combine exercise with creative movement and with self-expression, all these things combine, and it's a real gift for
Yeah.
our bodies and our brains and our lives. Uh, After this, how not to get into dancing? I mean, if we are creative in our movements and we self-express, obviously what we are doing is we are dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Dancing, obviously, is one of the oldest forms of art on the planet. One of the things is that people think that they need to be good at dancing to be able to dance. And unfortunately, it's not like this. People just need to try to move in a creative way with the music to be able to um, just enjoy all the benefits of this creative movement. And this is one of the main things, that here we are not talking about becoming a professional dancer. We are just talking about how creative movement can become a dance and can become a real way of expressing yourself and improving your lifestyle.
Mm. All right. Okay, so
That's it.
that's awesome. Okay, so if you stop your share, they can see us a little bigger again. I love your images. It helps people to really visualize what you're talking about here and seeing the brain and all the, the neurons and then the creative movement. I love that. Thank you so much for preparing that for us. Um, all right, so here's my question for you is so for creative, so there's a lot of different ways that I move my body, but I want to invite you to talk about yours first because some of it is creative. Actually, maybe all of it is. Even sports can be considered creative in some way. Like it just running, like walking, whatever. I mean, those sorts of things. Of course, like we're wanting to do all that, and I love that you brought in all the physical aspects, but the creative piece is another element altogether. Like it's literally it's like taking all the physical aspects and even there's a mental aspect to playing a sport. You have like a golfer needs to have their like focus. They have a lot of mind stuff that's going on there. They're actually, putting like they're not letting emotionality carry them away because they're able to do this task at hand. And there's so much going on with the skills and life skills that happen with playing sports even. But getting into the creative stuff, what's your story there? Like, why are you so interested in this, and how do you express that in your own life?
So, as many dances, tango, I can talk about different dances, but I think the best thing I can do is talk about tango.
Okay.
Um, Argentinian tango is a traditional dance, and as any traditional dances, it has been inherited into me by my grandmother.
Mm.
And I have absorbed this from a very young age. We Argentinian, we listen to tango music from very young ages because our grandparents would have the radio on all day.
Yep.
And yeah, and I spent a lot of time with my grandmother when I was a small kid
Mm.
and even when I was a teenager. So when you, how should I say, when you get into this kind of very strong heritage,
Mm.
very strong cultural, let's say, suitcase that you get, you need to do something with it because it's bigger than you,
Mm.
I guess. And I think you don't choose what you want to do. I think that that thing chooses you to express itself.
Mhm.
So this is what happened to me. Tango thought that I was a good container, and he got into me. And he Tango told me how to go around the world, to go around cultures. Um, the first thing is you need when you in any art, but in any physical activity or mental activity that you do, you need to learn the technique. So
Mhm.
this is what you were saying, you have to overcome all kinds of challenges, and this is essential, otherwise you cannot be creative. I
Mm.
mean, you can be creative in an art or in a science or in something that you're doing if you know how to go about it, which are the bases. And these bases are very stable for you. You know them, you deal with them easily, and then all this self-expression and all, let's say, your energy comes out, and
Okay.
it's just like a channel to express yourself.
Mm.
But it's not how to say, one thing is, there are all kinds of dances. Some dances is just creative dance, and you dance the way you want and you feel how the music moves you, and probably you will need to learn some techniques.
Mhm.
uh, but basically it's you and the music and what your body is expressing in an art as tango. It's much more than that. You need to be very disciplined, and you need to learn how to do it, how to dance it,
Mm.
and then you have the the expressive channel opened for you to create.
Mhm. You know, my experience with dance, okay, so I dance all the time. And I'm the first one on the dance floor. I am like I'm dancing in my kitchen. I'm dancing like when I go for walks, I do this walk run dance thing. Like I can't help but just move. And so I'm not like in a class. Like I've never done classes. I'm terrible at the technical stuff. Like I would not be a good tango dancer, but for me, like dance and expression and movement, or expression through dance and movement, is like one of the best things I do for my overall health. Like, and I can get sweaty, I can get all that stuff. It's like movement, all that stuff, but it's more so my soul and my heart. It's like passion, it's expression, right? Like, and so I'm not good at it. My daughter and I we took a class. I mean, maybe I am, but not in that technical way. So what I'm saying is that in my experience, when I dance, I'm not like I don't know the steps, I don't know this blah blah blah, but it's like it just coming out of me. And I think it's partially my Trinidadian heritage because
Oh, wow. No, but
like I grew up with lots of music in the house, and we did
yeah.
like we were dancing all the time. And like carnival is one of the things that happens in Trinidad. I never went there to carnival, but we did it in Winnipeg where my dad lives. And so we were always like at events and music, and like it was just like the body just like it's like you hear music and you just can't help yourself and you move a certain way. My daughter and I took a class. I'll just tell you this, Florencia. We took a class last year, and I thought I got this. Take a street dance class. I'm like, I'm like I can do
uh,
this, right? And I was like I can do free flow, but to learn the choreography, I was like the worst. I'm going the wrong way. I can't remember anything. So as soon as I put some kind of form to what I wanted to actually do, it's just the worst. And we did lyrical, and I can't spin. I can't, so what I'm saying is there's still joy in it. Like you were saying, you were giving two examples about tango being very technical, and then there's a precision, there's learning there, there's you're working your brain, you're learning something new, you're challenging yourself. There's so much to be said about that technical dance, and then also that like Just give her. Get out of the dance floor and go have some fun, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's different points of view as well, because there are different dances. And in, for example, when you talk about self-expression dances, you
Mm-hmm.
don't need to learn a choreography. You don't need to be precise. It's just the music and your movements. And really, who cares about, technique?
Mm-hmm.
um, when you go into certain dances like this one, for example, or ballet or modern dance or all those more specific dances, you need to be very disciplined
Right.
and you
Yes.
need to learn a lot. So it's two different points of view.
Yeah.
What people maybe don't know is this, that they always think that a dance should be all this very hard work. And
Mm.
it doesn't have to be, it depends what you decide to do. I mean, if what you want to do and what you need to do is just to move and follow the music, you can get all the benefits of exercise, but with
Mm.
this plus creativity. And this is great because no one, there are people who want to be, I don't know, professional tango dancers, professional ballet dancers, and this is completely fine. And then you need to follow a road.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just want to have fun, you want to feel good, you want to lose weight, you want to reduce stress, you want
Mm-hmm.
to sleep better, you don't need to launch into all this seriousness, let's
Mm-hmm.
say, and technicality. You can just have fun.
Yes.
And many, 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 let's say, uh, areas in which you can do it, even alone in your house, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
But what I feel is that people always need, when you're, and it's a natural thing when we are not used to doing something, we always need someone who is there
Mm.
giving us some, some motivation.
Yes.
And so I suggest people get into this kind of, you know, uh, places or communities rather than others. Because
Mm.
then, when you go there and you need to learn the choreography and the things don't work and you just wanted to have fun, there's frustration. And this is the opposite of what we want.
Yes.
um, it's everything changes if you have an objective in your head and you
Mm.
say, now I want to become X. Well, then you have to work out that. Otherwise, it's very important, I guess, that it's just not, because people many times they say, I don't like exercise.
Mm.
I just not really, it gets me, I get bored. You know, exercise is boring for me. Well, I say this is, if exercise is boring, dancing can never be boring. There's no way that if you dance to your favorite music, you can get bored.
Yes.
And you can get motivated and you can get running into the thing, one and two and three and four and whatever comes.
Yeah.
During the lockdown, I was teaching my tango lessons at home. There were no tango evenings, and I was pretty frustrated because I
Mm.
need to move, and
Mm-hmm.
the regular exercise that I was doing would not satisfy
Mm.
this part, because they're two different things.
Yes.
And so I started dancing to my favorite music. I left tango on for my lessons, and then I went on my favorite songs just to dance, and because basically I'm a dancer, I can dance anything, so just to
Yes.
have fun. So yeah, this is important, I guess.
Well, and I think that when people are bored with their exercise, it's like totally misunderstanding what exercise is. It's not supposed to be a chore, and we make it that because we schedule it in, we go to the gym, and we do this and that and whatever. It's not, you don't need to do that to exercise. Exercise and movement, should, could, must, I don't know, like happen regularly just because you're living. You're out there building your shed and you're mowing your lawn and you're taking your dog for a walk and then you're dancing and you're, working up a sweat doing that. Like you're, doing things that are expressive and also just like everyday life that sometimes we tend to farm out. We hire people to mow our lawns. We park really close to the grocery store so we don't have to walk too far. Like, it's like we're
That's
taking things out of our lives that allow us that ability to stretch and move and just like because when you don't, I mean, life is movement. Like Anat Banyel says, I think one of her books is called like Movement is Life or something like that. But that is what it is. And when we're stagnant, there is no life, right? Like like that's just like inertia. Like we don't evolve, we don't get stronger, we don't experience. Our bodies are for experiencing our world around us, our own emotions, our own, like, and it's a way to communicate that with others too. So yeah, I think that if we're bored with our exercise, then we got to do something else. Like it doesn't mean you're not, "Oh, I'm just not a gym rat, so I'm not going to exercise." Well, there's a plenty else of things to do, and one of those things is dance, or one of those. And I think that one other thing I want to mention, you see how, and you probably get this a lot when you teach, is that I don't know if you teach adults or what, but sometimes people are intimidated by the time they get to, adult age because they think that all of these things, these classes or these groups are for kids and it's competitive and it's like only kids can do that. And then you hit a certain age and you stop playing. You stop moving, you stop exercising, you stop, exploring things in a creative way, especially our bodies. Like, I'm not getting up on a stage and dancing, or I'm not, people start to feel like that they're too old to dance? What? Like, are you
right.
for real? Like that? No, no, no. I totally reject that notion. And that's why we took that class. It was an adult dance class. I'm not going to think I'm going to go in a competition, but I don't want to. Like, the whole idea was to go bond with my daughter and have some fun. So I
Sure.
highly encourage people, if they're feeling like that, to just go re-examine that. Like, why am I thinking that? Why do I think it's only for kids? And why do I think, because I think play and joy and movement, creativity is like the stuff of life all throughout life, from birth to wherever else, whatever happens later, all the way through. Yeah,
Definitely. The moment
yeah,
you stop moving, you stop creating, you stop feeling young is the moment you stop living.
yes.
So we want to live a life, not to be already dead while we are living.
No,
So,
yeah,
so this is a very radical element
isn't
to
it?
move and let the flow of life go through us. And for
Exactly.
this, we really need to play,
We do.
and playing is great. I mean, um, I have to say that here, usually people, yeah, there are some people who think like this, but they tend to launch themselves a bit more
Mm.
into, playful stuff. Italian people are love partying and having fun.
Aha. Yes.
So this is very, very good here. I like this thing about the community. It's very similar to South American communities. So
Mhm.
Mediterranean countries in Europe are in a way similar to South American culture, in a way, not
Mm.
completely. Obviously, for us, it's much more. It's our way of life. If we are not active on play and have some colorful things in our lives are, gone with the wind. So, but I think that when you meet new cultures, you meet people from other cultures, you listen to different opinions and everything, like lots of gaps open. And this is very important for everyone. So to mingle with other cultures, to know other kind of people from
Mm.
other parts of the world with other traditions. And this is to travel, even to
Yes.
travel online, to meet people online. This is also another choice, right? So right now we have this choice. Maybe we should not replace it,
Hmm.
but at least take advantage of it. Why
Hmm.
not?
Hmm. I love that you brought in that element of culture because when I was sort of having my little lament there about, that people can say that they're too old and they can't do this and blah blah blah. It's actually that's kind of like a Western mindset. Like, it's literally you're right. Like when you look at other cultures, that doesn't happen all the time. And that's why maybe, that's why I have this youthful spirit and I love to dance and it just comes forth from me because my upbringing, I grew up in Canada, but I was exposed to different cultures at all times. And we did a lot of, I mean, when I, after my 20s, in my 20s, 30s, whatever, I've done a lot of traveling since. And so, yeah, so seeing that in other communities and how they connect that way and the joy and the tradition and all that stuff that comes with it. Um, I think that has been part of my soul, like that and music, like one of the things that actually ignites the desire to dance is also sound and music. And that's in motion as well. Like the sound current is actually an energy in and of itself. And so that's another pairing with my body that I really enjoy. I love playing instruments too, actually. And that there's so much to that kind of energy that is life-giving. I love that. So a couple other things I want to know, like, so when we like to end here, um what are some other things that you do or like or have come into your awareness that involves movement that, let's say someone's like, "Why, I'm not really into dancing so much." Like, what other things do you think about when you think about movement and expression and just staying physically active?
Well, I guess, one of the things that has always attracted me, and I suggest to many people, and it works a lot, is some yoga. Yoga
Mm,
is always a lovely commitment, and
yes.
not a commitment. It's a lovely thing. Actually, it's really, really enlightening. Yoga is wonderful.
Mm,
Could be also, some people love martial arts as well. That's very, very nice.
yes.
And always both yoga and martial arts, they're all activities that connect you with your higher self.
Mm,
And I guess that this is very, very crucial because you go into a transformational process without without making the effort of doing it. It's just a natural flow. It's
mm,
just something that happens to you in a natural way. Um, so this, I would say, that could be the main things that I would go into. There's also, nowadays I'm working on movement to liberate chakras, which
mm.
is a very interesting dance.
Yeah.
And it's also very enlightening, related again to your higher self, and this energetic element that is very important to be taken care of,
Mm,
especially nowadays.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I guess that any kind of activity that gives you pleasure and, has this result in your body and your brain is a
Mm,
very good thing. So just walking, having a relaxed walk, even, I mean, it's great to go alone or with someone,
mm-hmm.
to go to the forest if you have a forest around, some natural environment. Here, for example, I have a wonderful park in front of my house
Mm,
with a beautiful lake, and I go walking, and it's very refreshing.
yes.
Cycling is a great
Yes.
exercise. Instead of using your car to go next door,
Mm-hmm.
you can replace it with your bicycle.
Yes.
it has many, many benefits in all kinds of ways.
Yes.
So cycling to close places around your house in the neighborhood, you can leave your car, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And this is also, using your body to move from point A to point B,
Mm-hmm.
because as humanity, we were not born with a car,
Mm-hmm.
with a bus, with the
We're supposed to
airplane and the
walk.
train. Yeah, we had to walk first, then we had to run for our
Yeah.
lives, and then we got some new inventions, and we got the animals. So I always say I would love to get my horse and go, riding to the supermarket, but this is
Mm.
not
That's
possible
not
right now.
allowed.
So I go for my bicycle. So basically, my bicycle is my best horse, right? I'm, but I guess that moving from different to and from different places should be taken this advantage as well. Why not using a bike, for example?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you also practice your stability so much. Cycling is wonderful, and you
Yep.
don't need to ride 10 kilometers to to be fit. You can
Yes.
go for it every day. So for me, the important thing is, and what I tell people all the time is, not so much the quantity of
Mm-hmm.
exercise. Today I went to the gym and I was there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's great, but maybe you were over exercising. So it depends on your training. So this is the thing. Maybe not the only way to do exercise is to go to the gym or to practice a sport.
Mm-hmm.
Exercise is always having moving into your daily life every day, because the
Mm-hmm.
body doesn't know if you are a professional dancer or you are a professional sportman or whatever. The body
Mm-hmm.
knows how much you move.
Mm-hmm.
It does not
Mm-hmm.
understand anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So if you move regularly, you move every day, and you have some, consistent exercise every day for
Yes.
your level of exercise, which is
Yes.
not mine, is
Mm-hmm.
not yours,
Mm-hmm.
it's that person's, then it's really good enough.
Yep. And
And
I like that you mentioned
mm,
over exercising because we don't need to do that. That's not necessary. Functional movement, like brachiating, like kids out at the park, running around, like playing ball, catch, whatever with their parents or their friends, and all that
sure.
stuff. And um, I remember like with my kids, like we did a combination of all of those things. And one thing we also did was we went swimming once a week, and then we went to the library after. And we didn't really actually mention that yet. I'm going to mention it now how important movement is to brain development actually. So when you're moving, your brain is actually developing, and those kiddos got to get out of the car seats and they got to get out of the high chairs and crawl around and roll and pull themselves up, and then that's actually part of the brain development that and all the reflexes need to be integrated through all of that stuff, those stages. And so it's not just like it is feeling good every day, it is brain development. It is feeling, well into older years. It is, getting stronger, every day. And that doesn't have to be like, being a muscle, building muscle, like as in like lifting weights. You could, sure. But it's also like stronger in every single way, the heart, the spirit, and all that stuff. And then also having fun. So we did all of those things. Played sports. We, went swimming once a week just for fun, and we did a lot of dancing, listened to a lot of music, and cycling. We biked everywhere. We went to get groceries, and we had a little like thing. You can do this with your kids, is what I'm saying. This isn't just us talking to adults. This is the whole family involvement, and walked wherever we could, until we got to the country, and then we had to drive to go get groceries. But we used to always, like, I'd have a thing in the back and the groceries would be piled all over the little one that was in the in the trailer. It's so good. Just getting out there moving, even in the winter, right? Getting on all your gear, putting everybody in the sleds and let's go. So, um, thanks so much, Florencia, for this talk. It was really fun. And do you have anything you want to say before we bust off?
Well, we just we could talk about kids and exercise for another hour, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I'm well, I haven't added it in my mention it in my description. Being a Montessori teacher,
Mm-hmm.
we work with movement and
Mm-hmm.
brain development and physical development, and considering this, whatever you do with your kids that involves movement
Mm-hmm.
is going to give them a better life.
Mm.
So this is the most the most radical thing with your kids, being
Love
in
it.
nature and being moving around. Whatever you do, it's not difficult to move when you have kids. It's just
No,
you
you
need to
have to.
avoid, you have to, it says you need to avoid as they grow older their screens right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is the problem. This is the problem we didn't have when we were kids. So the more kids get used to being outside and moving, playing football, I mean, doing a sport or not, but just having a walk, running, which whatever,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the more you do this with your kids, the more they are healthier. They
Yep.
have less health problems. They are smarter. They are less entitled. They are
Mm.
better problem solvers. It
Yes.
has to do with all of this and much more. So
Uh,
yeah.
I love that. That just gives everybody really a lot to think about and to chew on, and the benefits of this, and just getting up and getting out there. And it's fun. Come on, it's fun. So thanks so much,
Yeah.
Florencia, for this
Thank you,
conversation and for being
Carla.
here. Yes, thank you, and
Thank you.
have yourself an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you.